At this time, the 2017 Teachers of the Year are coming into the auditorium. If you could please help me welcome them as they come in.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Berkeley County Board of Education meeting this Tuesday, March 14th. I call this meeting to order, and I declare a quorum is present and the media has been notified. We'll now move on to agenda item 1B, the approval of the agenda.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Wright, a second by Mr. McQuillan to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The motion passes. We would now like to recognize Destiny Singleton and Natalie Gonzalez from Philip Simmons Middle School to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please sing.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll now observe a moment of silence. Please be seated. We will now have entertainment from Philip Simmons Elementary Choir, the Iron Horses, with Mr. Frazier. wonderful job. Thank you so much, Mr. Frazier, and the choir, the Iron Horses. You were excellent. Thank you so much for the parents who came out tonight for their children to perform. The next agenda item is the approval of the minutes for the regularly scheduled meeting of February 28th, 2017. Is there a motion?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Wright, a second by Reverend Spann to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of February 28th, 2017. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The motion passes. Moving on to the most wonderful part of the night, to be able to recognize the Teachers of the Year for 2017. This is by far my favorite meeting, and why we are all up here doing what we're doing is to support you. So we would like to ask Dr. O'Gorman to come up and for the board to come down so that you can greet the Teachers of the Year. Okay, before we come down, you're going to tell us.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, Mr. Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. It is quite a night for us to celebrate. Before honoring our Teachers of the Year, I would like to share a few brief thoughts with you. But before I go any further, I would like each of you to take a second and think of your favorite teacher. I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, didn't hesitate to think about exactly who that teacher was. Can you put your finger on exactly why that person was your favorite teacher? Was it because they taught you some difficult concept? Was it because you got an A in that class? I'm guessing not. One of our legacy legends recently said that students may forget what a teacher teaches them, but students will never forget how a teacher makes them feel. I'm guessing your favorite teacher made you feel loved or confident or important or something more. Tonight we honor individuals that carry the title of teacher, but we all know they have many other titles: friend, mentor, counselor, coach, parent, and so on. Under those titles, they teach us so much more than the standards of their respective content areas. Because of everything they do for our students, for our children, they are the greatest of servant leaders, in my opinion. They are the backbone of this district. They are the greatest asset we have and that our students have. And tonight we have the best of the best. Teachers named Teacher of the Year by their own peers. What an honor. Before calling them up individually, let's give them a big round of applause. At this time, Ms. Wofford, if you and the rest of the board and Mr. Jackson could come down on the other side of the cabinet table so you could form a receiving line. Our first teacher from Berkeley Alternative School could not be here tonight, Owen Brittle. Our second teacher also could not be here, from Berkeley County Middle College, Sheila Amerson. From Berkeley Elementary School, let's welcome Gwendolyn Burbage. From Berkeley High School, Stephanie Piegler. From Berkeley Intermediate School, Hannah Cato. From Berkeley Middle School, Kimberly Dunbar. From Boulder Bluff Elementary School, Marilyn Edmonds. From Cane Hoy Elementary School, Heather Zack. From Cane Bay Elementary School, Carrie Nichols. The next teacher of the year is one of our 8 finalists. From Cane Bay High School, Nicholas Snyder. From Cane Bay Middle School, Denise Williams. From College Park Elementary, Leslie Creel. The next candidate is one of our 8 finalists from College Park Middle School, Jamie West. From Cross Elementary School, Brionna Canty. From Cross High School, Chiquita Spears. From Daniel Island School, Patty Fisher. Our next candidate is one of our final 8. From Devon Forest Elementary School, Dr. Shelley Matthews. From Goose Creek High School, Emily Wrigley. From Goose Creek Primary School, Sandra Ullery. From H.E. Bonner Elementary School, Kirsten Gregory. From Hanahan Elementary School, Kelly Tuberty. From Hanahan High School, Elaine Phillips. From Hanahan Middle School, Catherine Sullivan. From Howe Hall Ames, Beth Knight. From J.K. Gordine Elementary School, Karen Neesmith. From Macedonia Middle School, Stacy Jolene. From Merrington Elementary School, Jan Nutt. Our next candidate is one of the 8 finalists from Merrington Middle School of the Arts, Laura Wiggins. From Nexton Elementary School, Jennifer Rogers. Our next Teacher of the Year is also one of the 8 finalists from Philip Simmons Elementary, Doretha Garland. And our next candidate is also one of the final 8 from Philip Simmons Middle, Dylan Hudson. From Sangaree Elementary School, Morgan Warner. From Sangaree Intermediate, Christine Mims, excuse me. Our next candidate is one of our final 8 from Sangaree Middle School, Brenda Maycall. From Sedgefield Intermediate, Autumn Jernigan. She couldn't be here tonight. Our next candidate is one of our final 8 from Sedgefield Middle School, Courtney Johnson. From St. Stephen Elementary, Vera Gaylord. From St. Stephen Middle School, Tanya Davis, could not be with us tonight. From Stratford High School, Jimmy Cate. From Timberland High School, Meg Barano. From Westview Elementary School, Kathy Killow. From Westview Middle School, Shur Zala. From Westview Primary School, Valerie Rose. From Whitesville Elementary School, Rebecca Bridge. And just so the audience is aware, we will name the final 3 on March 24th and name our District Teacher of the Year on April 20th. Let's give them all one big round of applause once again. Thank you.
love to come out to school visits. We love to be in schools, and we love to acknowledge teachers. It's the best part of getting to be a part of this board, but we know it's lots of work. So we want to thank Dr. Whitley and Mr. Dixon, the PTA, which has been established well before the school was even opened, and Mr. Franchini, all of the staff who made this possible. There was a beautiful reception by the teacher forum. It was wonderful. Thank you so much. There's a lot of hard work that goes into that. And to our Teachers of the Year, we are so proud of you. You do what matters every day in the classroom. And I'm very blessed to have multiple Teachers of the Year who teach my kids. And when you start talking about your own kids, it's very touching. So you're touching somebody's kid, whether they're sitting on this board or sitting out in the audience. You're making a difference. And as a mama, not as a board member, that really matters. So thank you so much from the bottom of our heart. You're why we do this. I took a screenshot of my paycheck the other day. It's not for the money. It's to support people like you who care about public education and touch kids every day. So thank you so much. Also, we have lots of other business to do that you probably don't want to have to sit through. So in just a minute, we're going to let you go home with your family. But before we do that, do any other board members want to say any comments?
I would.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would like to echo what Ms. Wofford said. This is my absolute favorite board meeting of the year. Our Teachers of the Year, this is really kind of the big deal for you guys, and this is the big deal for us. We don't get to say thank you enough to the teachers that do, you guys are the boots on the ground. You do what we wish we could do. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for all of the lives that you are bettering, for all of the kids that you are teaching and will teach in the future. We are all here because of good teachers, so thank you.
Let me just say, Chairman Wofford, I was in the classroom for many years myself, and I know the hardship it is to become Teacher of the Year. So I just want to commend all of you for a job well done. God bless you.
I would like to thank you as well. To you, we entrust our youth, our children, our future for tomorrow. And everything that you do and the influence that you have on our children is priceless. And I personally would like to thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We will get to see you again on March 24th and do lots more handshaking. There'll be lots more handshaking to do. And then again on the 20th. But it's just our way of trying to say thank you for what you do. So the other thank you that we're going to give you is to let you go home with your family and not sit through all the fun things that we get to do. So please, if you would like to go enjoy the night with your family, if you came with kids singing or for a special recognition, now would be a wonderful time for you to go enjoy your family and your wonderful accomplishment. Thank you so much.
can't find this. She's looking at it right here.
We attend the same church. And we're right up the road from each other.
Ready, March 24th for 3:30. I'll say my speech. I guess it's Cypress Park. Yeah, this.
We'll move on to the next part of the agenda, which is citizen comments.
It says no service.
You want to give them a chance to move forward?
And maybe there's a little off my. They can move forward. Phone case.
So up first for citizens' comments is Ms. Rendy Ryan, and she'll be speaking about Ms. Blackburn. As she's coming to the podium, I would go through the citizen comment procedures. In order to conduct the meeting in an orderly and efficient manner, we ask you honor the following guidelines. Stakeholder comments are welcomed and encouraged. However, the board will not take immediate action on public comment at this meeting. Any person wishing to address the board must register prior to the meeting. Comments regarding complaints against employees other than district-level executives or references to students other than the child of the speaker will not be heard in public session. Groups addressing the same topic should select one speaker. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per speaker and 30 minutes total. The board chair reserves the right to allot additional time or halt public comments that do not adhere to the guidelines. Welcome, Ms. Ryan.
Thank you very much. Mr. Jackson, Ms. Wofford, and members of the board, I too would like to thank the teachers of the year and all the teachers in our district for all that they do every single day. It really does matter. I am also thankful to our school board for their strategic planning for growth in our district. I am thankful for the vision of 2012's Yes for Schools referendum, which has built these 3 great Philip Simmons schools for District 2. May you continue to effectively plan for the ongoing growth in our district. I am here to share my concern about the abrupt departure of Mrs. Blackburn. She had only just begun her work for the children in Berkeley County. Her last review was quite favorable, and I have heard no criticisms of the job she was doing for our district. I am worried because Mrs. Blackburn's departure appears to be an example of election cycle scapegoating. If this board had real problems about her performance, please publicly disclose that information. I am also concerned about the potential conflicts of interest at play in Berkeley County. We have a member of this board serving as legal counsel to the county council, while a member of county council is the legal counsel to this board, which means our elected officials are directing taxpayer dollars into each other's pockets in the form of legal fees paid. This is just too cozy to appear above suspicion of unethical dealings. I believe this board wants us to consider them ethical and transparent. So I ask you to please eliminate all appearance of cronyism and spend less time in executive session and more time in open discussion with your votes as public record. I would like to suggest this board consider going to a live feed for these meetings so that those of us who want to follow what's happening don't have to wait until after the newspaper story has been published before we can see the video. Our teachers need consistency in policies and expectations in order to focus on student achievement. Over the past 5 years, our teachers have been struggling to learn, teach, and test to how many different sets of standards and under how many different superintendents and interims. Consistency in expectations and leadership matters and has a great impact on student outcomes as well as teacher morale. Thank you, Mr. Jackson, for stepping up to the challenge of leading our district. May you continue as a competent guide for our district through the challenges of growth, change, and budgetary constraints. Thank you.
Up next, we will entertain Mev McIntosh on superintendent search.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, and Interim Superintendent Jackson. As you see tonight, I come to you as a parent, as a mother, and my mini-me is right next to me. My name is Mevish McIntosh, and I reside in Hanahan. I come to you tonight as a parent and a community member seeking to understand our current situation. I'm trying to understand why the board selected Harding, Parker, and Associates for the district superintendent search. During Dr. Parker's post as superintendent for Berkeley County Schools, he abruptly abandoned his position. And I asked why the board did not consider the South Carolina School Boards Association for the initial stages of the search. The SCSBA has knowledge of school districts in South Carolina, including our own. And I understand it is important for this board to practice both fiscal responsibility and to utilize services both locally and statewide when possible. And Mr. Ramsey, as my school board representative, I will happily share with you my contact information so we can follow up to this question. As we move forward, I ask that we not allow politics to overshadow the successes of our students and our schools. Each day, our teachers and support staff uplift and inspire our children. In turn, our children drive us to do better, to be better. I ask that we work together to give our local media the positive coverage that our schools, students, and communities rightfully deserve. From 2 students representing Berkeley High School's speech and debate team who carried their school to the 4A state championship, to Sedgefield Intermediate School infusing the Leader in Me curriculum into students' lives. The many accomplishments of our children must be center stage. It is my hope that we will continue to work together to showcase the brilliance of our children over the drama of adults. The district's communications office has and continues to share incredible stories of our children, their schools, and its educators. So let us continue that momentum so the world may know that we have the best students, educators, and parents in the state. It also saddens me to know that currently District 5 has no representation on major decisions that are directly impacting our friends and neighbors in those communities. But the behaviors of some adults in this special election are even more disturbing to me. If we teach our children to be kind, compassionate, to show respect, and to act with maturity and dignity, then now's the time that we as adults heed that advice that we give our children and truly practice what we preach. And as we move forward, I ask that you listen to all of our citizens of this county. And while you may disagree with some, it is your obligation as a public servant to the people, all people, to actively listen, to seek to understand, and to be considerate of all the decisions you make with equal representation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Up next is Ms. Patricia Eckstein on the Capitol Building Program.
Good evening. To Mr. Jackson, we're in good hands with you. We hope the best for you, and we know you'll do a great job in this interim period. Chairman Walford, members of the board, I just wanted to take this opportunity from last Friday night's meeting to highlight one of the most important aspects of the actions you took the other night that will go a long way to answering questions that the citizens of Hanahan have had for the last year or more, asking how the referendum money was spent. So thank you for hiring an experienced firm that will advise the board regarding all aspects of the Capitol Building Program, including assessing all expenditures of the Capitol Building Program. Last June, I sent a FOIA request asking if there was a breakdown on money spent and money left. There were times where I didn't get an answer. There were other times where it was an answer that said there was no breakdown. So now finally, thank you very much. We're going to get some answers. The things that I have seen in attending board meetings for the last 3 years, and through several superintendents and interim superintendents, has been frustrating to those of us who felt that we were either being a bait and switch on certain items with the Tanner Foster Creek School, now named Bowen's Corner, and even a shell game as to how the money was being used. And specifically to Ms. Blackburn, we had questions when it was omitted from a letter to the city about turn lanes versus the roundabout. It was omitted that the state had approved and preferred the district's engineer's top recommendation for a roundabout. It was just omitted. So I don't know what else was happening, but right now it's a breath of fresh air. You have a hard job to do. You did it unanimously the other night, so it was a unanimous action. I say prayers for you, and I know you want to get down to this and get down to the bottom of this so you can get back to educating our children and supporting our teachers and our administrators. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Eckstein. We're going to move now to administration and facilities, the instructional calendar for 2017-18. And Mr. Jackson is going to go down to the podium and present the instructional calendar.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members. Tonight we present the 2017-18 instructional calendar proposal. All right, just a quick review of the process. We form a committee. The committee is comprised of 12 members, including teachers and principals representing elementary, middle, and high schools. Also a parent representative and district level personnel. The committee began meeting in November of 2016 in person and electronically. Information throughout the process was shared with teachers and administrators. This is a quick list of the committee members. As you see there, high school, middle school, and elementary school representatives, as well as district office personnel. I served on the committee as the chair liaison. So really quick, the requirements. These are the requirements of an instructional calendar. You must have 10 professional development days / work days. School must start no sooner than the third Monday in August. So this year, that put us at the 21st of August, which is also a total solar eclipse day. So the state passed a resolution allowing school districts to begin school on August 17th, which is highlighted in the red. We also must have at least 3 inclement weather makeup days. So in addition to the state requirements, last year the committee put together a list of Berkeley County School District instructional calendar norms. And this was based on survey results. Typically in Berkeley County, our instructional calendar is similar from year to year. So based on the results, we formed these norms. As you see there, no more than 4 teacher work days to start the school year. If we can help it, start the school year with a shortened week, 3 days at Thanksgiving, things of that nature. So those will be consistent on a year-to-year basis as we present our instructional calendars. So the process, we reviewed the requirements of the instructional calendar and utilized the framework that you just saw on the previous page. Discussed pertinent issues that may affect the calendar, such as the solar eclipse. And that resolution that was passed, we communicated with neighboring districts to see what their calendars look like, to see if there's some comparability there. And we also shared the instructional calendar drafts in draft format with principals, district administrators, teacher forum, et cetera. So when we created the two options, there was mainly one difference, and that was in spring break. As you see in option 1, spring break began March 30th. That's Friday, March 30th. And in option 2, spring break began on April 2nd, Monday, April 2nd, and ran through April 9th. If you see on option 1, March 30th is also a weather makeup day, and then April 9th in option 2 is also a weather makeup day, so that's why it looks that way. So once we created the two draft instructional calendars, we sent to all BCSD employees via email. There was a huge response back, and we also received feedback by employee and as well by school, and that's how we got the recommended calendar. We also posted it to our social media sites as well as our website. And overall, the employees selected instructional calendar option 1. So tonight, the administration recommends that the board approves instructional calendar option 1 as presented here tonight for the 2017-18 school year.
Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I so move.
Second.
All right, there's a motion by Reverend Spann, a second by Mr. McQuillan. Are there any questions?
I have one. I believe that we were included in the email that went to all employees that said that the half days or late arrivals would be added later on. Where are we on that as far as feedback?
Thank you. We commissioned a study by Hanover Research to study the effectiveness, if you will, the implementation of our late arrivals and early dismissal days. To receive that feedback, we received the results, I believe, last Friday, and right now the Instruction and Accountability Office is helping to review those findings, and once that's taken care of, we can add those half days or late arrivals back to the calendar based upon the recommendations of those findings.
How are we as far as logistics on those days? I know that there are some days that overlap where we have the elementary and middle that get out early and the high schools that go in late. So like bus drivers are booking it, I know. How are we doing logistically with our bus shortage and all that fun stuff?
Well, even with our bus shortage and bus driver shortage, they're making it work. But as you say, that it can be a logistical challenge. So that's one of the areas where we're looking at making some adjustments. It was brought up maybe a week and a half ago in cabinet that we may want to look at not having late arrival and early dismissal on the same day, because that's where you have your logistics issues.
Okay, thank you.
I've also gotten parent feedback where a high school kid is taking care of the elementary school kid. The high school kid stays in school all day. The elementary kid is going home. So if there's a possibility to stagger that I think would be helpful to parents.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is just first reading, so we can always amend this next meeting before we ultimately approve the calendar.
That is correct. And then also for the second reading, we will bring a draft of the 18-19 calendar. Mrs. Lee, I know you were going to ask about that as well.
Is there any way between now and the next meeting that we can publish the one we're going to vote on here in just a second for first reading so that we can get any sort of additional parent feedback? Because I've gotten comments that people hadn't seen it yet or that sort of thing. So I think it'd be helpful to post it again so that we can, as school board members and the district, can receive additional feedback.
Coincidentally, Mr. McQuillan, I checked the website on my way here, well, while I was here, and the calendar is posted on our website.
It's posted? Okay,
yes,
good.
All right, if there are no further questions, we'll call the question. The motion is to approve the 2017-2018 instructional calendar for the first reading as presented. The motion was made by Reverend Spann, the second by Mr. McQuillan. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. First reading passes. We'll now move on to financial services 5A. I'll invite up Ms. Jackie Carlin.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Superintendent Jackson, and ladies and gentlemen of the board. You have before you the information for bid number 498-1617 for serving lines at Sangaree Elementary and Sangaree Intermediate. This procurement is to replace existing serving lines at both schools due to the age and condition of the current equipment. And we are asking your approval to award this to Thompson and Little for the total cost of $65,346.50.
Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve IFB 498-1617 for serving lines at Sangaree Elementary School and Sangaree Intermediate School to Thompson and Little for $65,346.50.
A second.
There's a motion by Ms. Lee, a second by Mr. Ramsey. Are there any questions?
Yes. Is this a portion of your equipment price? The amount, is this for equipment?
Yes, it is for equipment, but it's being covered by child nutrition funds.
So this doesn't come out of equipment?
Capital or equipment funds?
No,
this is
sir.
out of
No, sir,
This
it's
is
not.
cafeteria equipment that is aging. And from what I understand, it's special design, and so, or special order somewhat, and so we're just trying to get it ordered so we can put it in during the summer.
Yes.
How old is the equipment that's there currently?
Let me see if I have that.
I think it's fair to let our constituents know how often we have to replace these, which is not often, is my understanding.
I spoke with the procurement officer earlier, said believed it was around 28 years old is how old the previous stainless steel equipment that we're replacing at these two schools. So it lasts a long time.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Any other questions? There's a motion by Ms. Lee, a second by Mr. Ramsey to approve IFB 498-1617 for serving lines at Sangaree Elementary School and Sangaree Intermediate School to Thompson Little for $65,346.50. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The motion passes. We'll move on to 5B.
Yes, you have before you IFB number 501-16-17 for convection steamers at Cane Bay Elementary and Sedgefield Middle School. This procurement is to replace existing convection steamers at both schools, and we are asking your approval to award this to FRS Charleston LLC for the total cost of $63,055.44.
Is there a motion?
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to award IFB 501-16-17 for convection steamers at Cane Bay Elementary School and Sedgefield Middle School to FRS Charleston LLC for a total cost of $63,055.44.
Is there a second?
A second.
There's a motion by Ms. Condor, a second by Mr. Ramsey. Is there any discussion?
Yes. How old are these equipment from Cane Bay? Seem like Cane Bay, but it's not that old of a school. How old are those equipment at Cane Bay, man?
I would say probably no more than 6 years old.
Are you replacing the entire amount, or are you adding on?
I believe we're replacing both, one at Cane Bay Elementary and Sedgefield Middle School. I would have to confer to Linda Fairchild, our child nutrition director.
And are they out of warranty? It's out of warranty and unrepairable. Any other questions? Seeing none, we'll call the question. A motion to award IFB 501 for convection steamers at Cane Bay Elementary School and Sedgefield Middle School to FRS Charleston LLC for a total cost of $63,055.44. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay.
Nay.
The motion passes. We'll move now to agenda item, thank you, Ms. Carlin, so much. We'll move now to agenda item 6A, the superintendent's report.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start again by thanking Dr. Whitley, principal of Philip Simmons Elementary, and also Mr. Dixon, principal of Philip Simmons Middle, for welcoming us and showing that hospitality tonight. We definitely appreciate them opening their doors to all of us. We had a pretty nice crowd. And the Teachers of the Year, and I had a brief opportunity this morning to drive out to some schools, and I'll tell you, in every classroom and every school, there's strong learning and teaching taking place in every classroom. As Ms. Wofford said, these teachers make a direct impact on the lives of students. And as Dr. O'Gorman mentioned, you can think back to your high school days, elementary days, middle school days. I'm sure you can think of some teacher that had that impact on your life and helped get you to the point where you are in your life today. I want to congratulate those teachers. I know most of them left, but I want to congratulate all 44 of them for their being nominated as their Teacher of the Year at their respective schools. And we look forward to them working with the Teacher Forum and continuing to lead that classroom instruction in their schools and in this district in the coming years. We had a lot of student achievements as well over the past couple of weeks. As many of you know, this is the time of year where our students participate in numerous competitions, programs, and events. I'd like to congratulate all the students who participate and placed in the Quest, HOSA, and DECA competitions in the past few weeks. Also can't forget the Lady Gators of Goose Creek, who are now the 5A state basketball champions for 2017. See Mr. Husky sitting back there. I know he's a proud principal there. I had an opportunity to go down and see the state championship game, and I'll tell you, while that weekend most of the games were close, it was kind of tight in the first half, but they blew it wide open in the second half. So it was definitely an explosive end to an outstanding season for the Lady Gators. And last but definitely not least, I want to congratulate Brent Aberly of Cane Bay Middle School, who won the Spellbound Regional Spelling Bee. He won it. He's now gearing up to compete in the National Spelling Bee in Washington, D.C. So I believe he's not here. I believe you're right, Madam Chair. I believe we will see the Lady Gators as well as Mr. Aberly later on in April. Rolling Study Hall. So moving from student achievements, we have some dedicated business partners as well. And I'd like to invite the board to join me at St. Stephen Middle School on Monday, March 20th at 11:30 a.m. as we unveil the state's first Rolling Study Hall initiative. So through our partnership with Google, we have made supervised Wi-Fi accessible on select school buses in Berkeley County. The access will allow students time to do homework and complete research during their lengthy commutes. So please contact Penny if you'd like to attend, and we'll make sure that you are RSVP'd. And finally, I'd like to make a comment on the recent change in district leadership. As many of you know, I did not seek this incredible responsibility of becoming interim superintendent, but I do want you to know that I am dedicated and committed to working with our board, with our employees, and the members of the Berkeley County community in order to ensure that we make our vision and our mission come to life. I believe that the time is now to come together and work as a team, more now than ever before, because we are one Berkeley. We have fantastic students, strong educators, a second-to-none support staff and administration, a passionate community, and a supportive board. So now is the time to rise to the occasion and deliver on our commitment to provide a world-class education to each student in our district. I believe that each of us has a responsibility to our students, and I look forward to working with you in this new capacity as we do what's best for our students in Berkeley County.
Thank you so much. To follow up with that, we want to thank Mr. Jackson for taking on this incredible responsibility in the interim position for our district during this time of transition. Publicly, the board wants to commit to Mr. Jackson the full support of the board. We have faith in your ability to lead with integrity and with the best interests of our students at heart. We are currently working with the forensic auditor, Terry Beckert. I can never say that right. Terry Beckert, they were boots on the ground yesterday, and we commit to the public to address transparently the findings of this audit. We're going through this process. We're committed to be publicly transparent to you, and we're going to work through this process. For our employees, for our teachers, and our principals, we're committed to you. You and the children of Berkeley County is why we serve. Like I said earlier, it's certainly not for the fame or fortune. I would rather my name not ever show up in the Post and Courier. But we serve for you, and we are committed to a quality public education in Berkeley County, and we're committed to our employees, and we're committed to our kids. And we don't want to go without saying that, and we're committed to Mr. Jackson working through us, with us through this transition as smoothly as possible. And I told them they're going to get tired of me saying this, one good decision at a time. We're going to move forward one step at a time, and we're committed to working with the public, with our employees, to put kids first. So thank you for taking on this responsibility. We're very appreciative. Thank you to our employees for working through this time of transition. And you know that, I want you to know that you have the full support of this board because we care for you and the children in this district first. Some things that we have coming up for dates and events. March 24th, we will announce that at the Teacher Forum induction, the 3 finalists for District Teacher of the Year. That will be at Freedom Church. It's at 4:30 on March 24th. You should have gotten an email from Amanda Cromer for that date. That is a wonderful time. Very exciting time, and they will present the 3 finalists for Teacher of the Year. Our Ambassadors Program will carry forward. That will be on March 23rd. It's at Cross Elementary School at 6 p.m., and Mr. Jackson will be presenting on capital projects and growth, which we have lots of. And then the last thing is just to remind you about the Rolling Study Hall. If you would like to attend, that's on March 20th from 11:30 to 1:30 at St. Stephen. But also thank you for everyone who came out on a Friday night to work hard. We appreciate that very, very much. We always appreciate our staff, and we especially appreciate them when they show up on Friday night and off-site and all the other times. For the board, we are very appreciative. We will now enter into executive session. And the reason for executive session will only be student expulsion appeals. On the agenda, it will only be for student expulsion appeals. So is there a motion to move into executive session?
So make the motion. Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Ramsey, a second by Mr. McQuillan. We'll be moving into executive session to hear 4 student expulsion appeals. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please.
There's letter B.
Discussion of pending employment matters.
Yes, sir. There is no pending employment matter to bring.
All right.
So it will only be the student expulsion appeals.
All right.
All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. We are now in executive session. We'll now entertain a motion to return to regular session.
So
Madam.
moved.
Second.
There's a motion by Reverend Spann, a second by Ms. Lee, to return to return from executive session into regular session. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. We have returned to regular session. We'll now entertain a motion for student number 1.
Madam Chair. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, in the matter of student number 1, I move that we approve the appeal and allow student number 1 to return to their home school.
On strict probation.
On strict probation, yes, sir. Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion by Ms. Lee, a second by Reverend Spann, to approve the attendance appeal and return the student to school on strict probation. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The motion passes. Now for student number 2.
Madam Chair, in the matter of student number 2, I move that we send the child to the alternative school.
I'll second. I yield.
All right, there's a motion by Mr. McQuillan, a second by Mr. Ramsey, to return student number 2, or to send student number 2 to the Berkeley Alternative School. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The motion passes. Now for student number 3.
Madam Chair, in the matter of student number 3, I move that we deny the appeal.
Second.
There's a motion by Ms. Lee, a second by Mr. McQuillan, to deny the appeal of student number 3. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The motion passes. For student number 4, is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we send the students to alternative school.
Second.
There's a motion by Reverend Spann, a second by Mr. McQuillan, to send student number 4 to the Berkeley Alternative School. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The motion passes. Is there any other action? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Wright, a second by Reverend Spann, to adjourn. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?